Some international students lose their UK visa chances because of simple proof of funds mistakes that they didn't even know mattered. And the painful part is most of these mistakes are completely avoidable. So in today's video, we are talking about common proof of funds mistakes that international students do and are still doing today that need to be avoided. And when people hear proof of funds, they usually think it's just about showing money in your account. It is slightly more than that. The UK visa process is very detailed and very specific. And sometimes even students that genuinely have this money can still run into problems if the requirements are not followed carefully. So let's go through some of these mistakes and how to avoid them. One of the biggest mistakes that international students do when it comes to proof of funds is calculating the wrong amount. Your proof of funds is not just your tuition balance. You also need to include your living expenses, or what you can call maintenance funds. According to the gov.uk requirements, the living expenses for students that want to study in London is £1,529 per month. Now, if you're studying outside of London, the living expenses is £1,171 per month. Now, that's the current living expenses. It is on gov.uk, so you can also always go and confirm. And this living expenses is calculated for 9 months. So calculate £1,171 if you are going outside London, and you multiply that amount by 9 months. Or if you're going to London, you calculate £1,529 times 9 months. Okay, that is what your living expenses is. So this amount is going to be in your account with your tuition balance. So that's what makes up a proof of funds. So most times international students are always making the mistake of calculating only just the tuition balance and omitting the living expenses, or sometimes they use wrong calculations to make their assumptions. And sometimes also students are doing these calculations and they make them too tight that there are no overflows in case there's a fluctuation in exchange rate. You should always make your calculations and give an extra room for exchange rate fluctuation. When you're changing this amount into your local currency, do not use the exact exchange rate amount to save this money in your account. Okay, always make sure that you leave a little bit of space. So for example, I am Nigerian, so I'm going to use the naira. Currently, the pound to naira is 1,850 naira. So a pound is 1,850 naira. So if I were a student right now and I'm trying to build my proof of funds, or I'm trying to put my proof of funds together, I'm not going to use 1,850 naira to make these calculations. I am going to use 2,100 naira, because if the fluctuations go up or they go down, you don't want the money or the amount in your account to fall short. And most times that's the mistakes international students also do. Apart from making wrong calculations, they calculate the exact amount so tightly without leaving money for any kind of fluctuations in exchange rate, and that's what you should do. The second mistake that international students always make as well is not maintaining the money in their account for 28 days. The required money must be in your account for 28 consecutive days. Okay, you don't take out today and put it back tomorrow and all that. No, it has to stay in your account. That is before your application. Okay, so this 28 days has to be before your application. You don't just start your proof of funds today, and after 2 days or 2 weeks you print out your statement of account and you say during the application, when I apply for visa, it is still going to be in my account for 28 days. No, it has to be in your account for 28 days before you print out your statement of account for your visa application. Do you understand? What you also should know is that within these 28 days, the amount in your account should never fall short, should not be withdrawn, should not exceed it significantly. Okay, we are going to speak about this also down the line. Yes, so don't make the mistake of leaving the money less than 28 days. And you should also know that if the money in your account drops by a small amount below required figure, the 28 days automatically restarts. Do you get? So the money in your account shouldn't go below the required figure. The required figure is your full tuition balance and your complete living expenses, depending on your location and where you're planning to go in the UK. Do you understand me? So if it falls short by any amount, no matter how minute that amount is, it automatically resets and it starts again from when that money becomes complete. So if you've already started your proof of funds and you're already 2 weeks in and something happens and that the money falls short, it is not the exact amount that should be there, that is there now, you have to restart that process again by putting back the money and making sure it's complete, and then counting from that day or from the next day. Do not print your statement of account on the day you deposit the money. It should be the day after, okay? The day after you deposit the money, not the day you deposit the money. Because if you print it out from the day you deposit the money, it is going to have this bulk. Because I know that most times we don't use our main account for this proof of funds. Most international students have to open another account, an account that can take this amount. If you're using your regular account, sometimes the regular account may not be able to handle this amount. So you have to open a different account to have this amount in there. When you deposit this proof of funds in your account, do not start from that day the deposit was made to start counting 28 working days. It should be the following day. Now, the third mistake you should avoid is last minute large deposit. Now, this means when you are well into the proof of funds counting, maybe you're in the 20th day or the 15th working day, and then you make a huge deposit, it is going to cause a red flag. Do you understand? And it doesn't mean that keep the account dormant. Now, that is another mistake people make. People have this mentality of keeping things at the extremes. So it's either we don't deposit at all or we deposit huge amount. No. If you're getting your proof of funds account ready, you should make sure that these transactions are still going on in that account. You can maybe recharge your phone, use it for shopping, little deposits can be coming in because it is your account. It shouldn't just be dormant. It doesn't make sense to anybody that your account can stay dormant without any transaction going on for 28 working days and you say it's yours. No, you have to make sure that transactions are being carried out on that account. You can recharge your phone, recharge your TV license, do all those little transactions. And also you can also deposit maybe 2,000 naira, 5,000 naira, and all that. But don't deposit large amounts, like anything over 100 or 200,000 is a large amount. Some people even go ahead as depositing 4 million naira, 10 million naira, sometimes 2 million naira. You shouldn't do that. Large deposits are going to cause a red flag. This doesn't automatically mean it's going to cause a refusal, but it can raise questions about the source of the funds. Okay, so people think it has to do with how many millions you can deposit. No, it has to be the actual amount, and then just regular transactions, regular transactions that you can carry out in your day-to-day activity. Recharging of your phone is something you do almost every time, almost every day. Things you can do on a daily basis, those are believable expenses. But when somebody pays you a huge amount, maybe you got somebody is repaying a debt to you and is over 2 million, 3 million, and you think the best idea is to deposit it there, it is going to raise eyebrows during the application. You understand? When your application is being treated, you are going to want to know where did this money come from. If you do not have the documents that will show that this money came from a debt that was paid or something, you're going to have issues. Now, the fourth type of mistake you should avoid is using the wrong type of account. One thing many students do not know is that the type of account you choose to use for your proof of funds is very, very important. It matters a lot in your application. You're supposed to use your personal account, not your business account. Some people go ahead as using their business account for their proof of funds, but it needs to be your personal account that has your name and your details on it. Do you understand? And the name and details on that account should match the name and details on your cars. Do you get? So if you use an account that you were using before you got married and you do not have your change of your change of name document, you've not done all that, you want to use an account that has your maiden name in it, but in your application, in your cars, in your offer letter, your maiden name is not there, and you want to use the account, don't use it. Instead, open a new account. That's why I said that in so many situations, students are often asked or encouraged to open new accounts so that their details are going to match with whatever thing they present during the application process. So your name should tally with what is on the document and on your bank. Don't use your mother's account. Don't use your brother's account. Even if you're using a sponsor's account, there are some supporting documents you should also submit. So if you do not have this document to submit, make sure you go and open a fresh account. Opening an account is free. Don't use a wrong account. Don't use an account that the name does not tally with your application details. It is very important. And they are always checking both the name on the account, the name on your cards, the name on your offer letter, and the name on your passport as well. So if there are any discrepancies, maybe by marriage or whatever thing, make sure that you already submit the supporting document, which is your marital document, before they even have to ask for it. If you don't submit it on time when you're applying and they now ask you for extra documents, is a waste of time. Okay, and most times they might send you a non-straightforward mail and say your application is not straightforward, so they will need more time to work on it. Avoid all those things. Do you understand? If it's possible, which I know it is, open a new bank account and use that for your proof of funds so that your name and details are going to match. Some banks, when you print out their statement of account, they do not show transaction details. You understand? So if the bank you're using, whenever you're printing out your statement of account and it doesn't show transaction details or time of transaction, or all those important details that will be needed when you're applying for your visa, don't use that bank for your proof of funds, because the main point of printing out your statement of account is so that your transaction details can be seen. What have you been doing over this period? What activities are going on in this account? What transactions are you doing? And to be sure that that money is actually your own. Do you get? That is why I said avoid any kind of huge deposit or whatever thing that is going to make your account look as though it's not straightforward or is not legit. Do you understand? The next mistake that students should avoid is waiting too late to start their proof of funds. Now, when it comes to proof of funds, timing is very, very important. You don't tell me that you are resuming school in September and by July you've not started your proof of funds. What are you doing? Because you know that proof of funds has to be in your account for 28 days and then you apply for visa after the 28 days. It simply means that it will be in your account for over a month, and then you should also have like over a month to wait for your visa application, because you already know that visa applications take anything within 15 working days, except you're going for the priority or the super priority, which I know most students do not go for because it's really expensive. So if your school is starting in the next 3 months, your proof of funds should have already been running already. But students do not understand how important timing is when it comes to proof of funds. Timing is very important. Don't start too late before you do your proof of funds. You are going to have issues. You might even be late because you are not going to hold the hands of the UKVI and say, I have just 2 weeks to go, please sort my visa out. No, you should make sure that you're working with time. Give yourself a long rope when it comes to timing. Do you get me? So that you will be relaxed. You would do your proof of funds and then apply for your visa and still have more than enough time to wait for 15 working days. You know that visa also is 15 working days, not 15 days. 15 working days. So it doesn't include weekends. So if you have just 2 months to go and you haven't even started your proof of funds already, you might even have issues when it comes to visa application, because you might have to resume school late and all that, or you have to start paying extra money for the other category of visas that might be faster to be approved. So save yourself the stress and start your proof of funds on time. The next proof of funds mistake you need to avoid as a student is submitting incomplete or incorrect documents. Now, for some students, they might actually have this money, they have the complete proof of funds, but they might also run into issues because of documentation mistakes. For example, documents that have missing dates, incorrect account details, missing bank information, statements that do not clearly show the required balance. It is an incomplete document. What they need to see is your balance. After all the transactions that has been carried out in that account over the last 28 days, they have to know what your balance is and then compare and contrast if it is actually what you need in your account. So bank statements that do not show clear account balance is going to be tagged a documentation mistake, or documents that are not properly formatted. So you as a student, when you download your statement of account for your visa application, make sure you go through them. Some students do not just go through them. Some students leave everything for the agents to do, and the agent has other clients as well. It's not just you. The agent may not give your application time. When you download your statement of account, before you send it off to your agent that's doing the application for you, make sure that you go through it as well to make sure there are no mistakes in your statement of account, okay? So that you make sure that your account balance is showing properly and it is the required balance you need, to make sure that all the transactions that you've done are showing properly with the correct details attached. So the truth is, many visa refusals do not happen because students do not have the money or the required amount needed for their proof of funds and their visa application. It happens because some of these mistakes are overlooked and not given attention to. Okay, so give attention to these details as you're planning for your proof of funds and your relocation and your study abroad. It isn't just about the UK alone. Okay, some other countries I know also do proof of funds. Some even hold their proof of funds in their account for 6 good months. Understand? So imagine you're in that situation and it's not just 28 working days and yours is 6 months. So make sure that you follow the procedures. Always read up on the government website to know how much your living expenses is depending on where you are relocating to. So this is where we come to the end of this video today. Drop a comment for me if you have any other mistakes that you feel students should avoid when it comes to proof of funds, and any other suggestion at all, drop it for me in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like this video, share this video, and once again, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.